Welcome back to Real Estate Success Partner. I'm your host, Devin Dubuque, and today I've got returning co-host Bobby Zapol. And Bobby, man, you have got a legend in the building today. Who did you bring along with us?
Well, in particular, really, I think of him as a legend, not only as far as his business accolades. The gentleman that I brought along, his name is Juan Umanzor. And with that, he falls within the top 0.5% of the top 1% of all real estate agents within our entire market. So, needless to say, his business accolades speak for themselves. In addition, what really connected me to him is he's a guru of mind, body, and soul. It's not really just business itself, but he's a person of growth, whether it's professional, personal, spiritual. It's someone very, very akin to my own beliefs and mindset. So, yeah, no, as far as accolades, there's too many to list for an introduction.
It'd be the whole podcast.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, we could list them all for the next 30
We
minutes,
could.
but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm sure we'll get into quite a few things, but in particular, really, his ideas and views on life and
Well, we got a
thoughts.
chance to hear a little bit from Juan in the green room too, and he just got back from a trip, and just the things you were talking about, Juan. I want you to just man, brother, we are just so proud to have you here on the show. So welcome to the stage, Juan, brother. Glad to have you here.
It is an honor. Thank you for having me. Bobby, thank you for that amazing introduction. I think that you have you with me besides me all the time to get this introduction.
I'm
I
here.
am humble and honored to be sharing with both of you and with the world,
With the
with
world.
whoever we're going to touch
Yeah.
with these messages, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, right? We
That's
want
what
to
it's all
shed
about.
light and empower others and just use our talents that God gave us to make this world a better
Amen.
place.
Amen. Yeah. Well, I love where your heart is. I love, the passion that you speak with. And that's why, we talked a few weeks ago and you're traveling all over the place. We finally pinned you down and we've got you here. But let's start with this. Juan, where are you from originally? We know you're up in the DMV area, but what's home for you?
Okay, well, yes, Metro DC area, but I come from a small village in a third world country, and that is El Salvador.
Mm, that's awesome. That's awesome. So small town in El Salvador to big city of DC. How does that happen? Right? Like, how do you land here?
Well, it's all God's interventions and everything, and anything that I do in my life. I grew up with no parents, and if you can think of this, picture a 3 months old baby and a coffee fields in a third world country under the care of his 5 year old sister. That was me.
Wow.
Even before I was born, my dad said I wasn't his son, and I was raised by a single mom until I was 7, and she couldn't make ends meet, and then she had to leave us behind as well.
Wow.
So I grew up in the middle of nowhere where there was no hope, no utilities or anything.
Yeah.
So overcome adversity and came to America at the age of 20 with absolutely nothing. I did not speak English at all. I started sleeping in a couch, $0 in my pocket, no support system,
Yeah.
nothing, like much less knowing about the culture. So,
How'd you get here? How'd you make that happen? So I'm coming to America. I don't speak English, but how'd you get here?
well, brother, my mom came here in the early 80s, and
Mhm.
by Ronald Reagan passed a law amnesty. My mother was able to fix her migration situation, and I was able to get a green card.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that was again divine intervention, because there
Yeah.
are a lot of things happen in between that it will actually take more than an hour for me to explain
I
how that
respect it.
everything
Yeah. I
happens,
respect it.
and how
Yeah.
life is meant to happen, and it's a full circle, and things happen for a reason. I have a phrase that I love: everything happens for the greater good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything happens for the greater good because when I came at 20, I met my dad for the first time in my life. A man who has never given me anything.
Yeah.
But it again, uh, life has a way of compensating and making you think what you done right and what you done wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening with me. And well, excited to be here and share with you a little bit
Oh,
about
we're
my
so excited.
journey
Yeah.
and
Well,
how everything has unfolded.
I met my dad when I was 38. So, I do understand. I share a little bit of that journey with you, but man, it's so inspiring to watch you just communicate because I feel your passion through your speech, but I also feel it through your just body movement, man. Like you've got so much coming out of you. So you make it here. Did you start out in DC? Was that where you originally landed?
I actually came to Rockville, Maryland, and I
Okay.
give a meeting to everything. Like when I landed to Rockville, I said, "Well, this is my foundation. This is rock." And then I started busting tables at a restaurant part time. I came in January. I can remember there was a blizzard that year, and it was just like the biggest blizzard I ever seen since I came here.
Wow.
And
Cool change from El Salvador.
yeah, oh, talking about a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started busting tables at this restaurant in Bethesda, Maryland. Guess what? The meaning of Bethesda is
What's the meaning?
a city of mercy.
Mm.
So I started busting tables and I started part time in April. And from being part time, I went and pretty much on the restaurant. Like I was the most indispensable employee at that restaurant. If the person that cleaned the restaurant didn't show up,
Yeah.
I was there. If the person that ran the food didn't show up, I was there running food. The
Whatever it
bar
takes.
back didn't show up, I was there. The
Yeah.
cleaning person didn't show up to clean the restaurant, I was there. So you gotta become indispensable.
That's right.
You gotta become is somebody that does no complaints because I could have said I've been hired as a boss boy. Why do I have to come and clean the restaurant?
Yeah. Yeah. But
Which a
no,
lot of people will say
they
that,
will. Yeah. But that's not
right?
growth.
That
You
is no growth.
no.
You know,
No.
you know what's funny too is actually I grew up in Rockville. My family, my sister, both my parents live in Rockville, and I work for Ruth's Chris. I did it for about 10 years, and I worked for Ruth's Chris in Bethesda. So I did a very similar thing to you. I started, just walking in, trying to do whatever I could do, and by the time I left, I was a key manager, bar manager, bartender, server. I'd fill in for the cooks. I would bus. It didn't matter if
The
I had a
growth
suit on or
mindset.
not.
Yeah.
The reality of it is, I wanted everyone to know that I was there for the bigger and greater good. And yeah, no,
That's how great things
I love
happen.
that story. It's like, it
Yeah.
resonates with me personally.
Well,
So
it's how great things happen, Bobby. At the end of the day, when you say, "Hey, look, I literally have there's no ranks here, right? Like I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this place successful in whatever you do." This is where big things happen, right? This is where true growth happens. So, you start out here, and are you speaking English at this point in time, Juan?
Well, when I came, I was so funny because I started busting tables. And this was an American restaurant, and I did not speak English at all. And so I was told what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And when somebody says something to me, I would always say yes. I would always say yes. And the funny thing was that sometimes time would go by, and whatever they told me wasn't done.
Mm.
So I was like. I just knew what to do, and my tasks were assigned. And if I have extra time, I could help the waiters. But it was just an amazing journey and experience. And I'll tell you why I had nothing to say but great things about Americans, because at that restaurant, most of the waiters were students, and you know what? They taught me English.
Yeah.
They have fun with me while teaching me irregular verbs and making sentences with the irregular verbs. Brother, life is what you make it.
That's it.
Okay, you either
Yep.
going to put reason excuses why things are not happening, but at
Mm.
the end, nothing matters. It's the actions you're gonna take that are gonna take you where you need to be.
Yeah. Actions speak louder than words.
I often tell people I have all the reasons, all the excuses why I could be a drug dealer, I could be a gang member. I mean, anything but success.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have all the reasons. It is what I chosen to be, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, because in life, you could be a victim of your circumstances, or you can become a victor, and
Yeah.
you choose.
Rise up, right?
Rise up.
Rise up. Believe in yourself, believe in your capabilities, and visionize it, and then make it happen. Do the action, the activity that's going to get you there. So we go from restaurant to where? So again, how do we get into this space, right? Like,
Oh, brother, it is crazy because within 4 years of being in the country, I purchased my first house.
there it is.
Single family home in Silver Spring, Maryland. Within 4 years,
That's
at the
huge.
age of 24, I was a homeowner already.
Yeah.
And people were like, how's that possible? You just came here, you didn't even speak English at all, and you already own a single family home. So even people thought that I was dealing drugs because and even I had some undercover cops came because I became the head waiter at that restaurant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there was something that my grandfather instilled in me. It was surround yourself with good people.
That's right.
Surround yourself with people that can come and add and multiply in your life.
Yes.
People that are gonna elevate you. So, and I am blessed, and it's by God's mercy that I am where I am. But all these little habits that you acquire in life, or you've been taught, the values that you've been instilling in you, have to do with your outcome.
That's right.
Now, being in Bethesda, I've been surrounded by great people, students, and people that came to have a good time at the restaurant. I mean, you see. You're part of what you see, what you
Yeah.
expose, what you eat, what you read. So you are part of it, and that's what you become.
That's right.
So in 2002, I heard real estate is blooming. It started to bloom. And I remember vividly this agent that was sitting at a happy hour and gave me his card. And he said, 10% nationwide of all realtors.
Mm.
And I was like, that is interesting. And I had already purchased my house. And the amazing thing in life is when a door opens, I mean, when a door closes, many other opens.
That's right.
So I was the head waiter at that restaurant in 2002, and I asked to be a manager. And they said, Juan, you are too valuable as a waiter. We can find managers left and right, but we can't find somebody that will do your job. You come, you open this place, you assign the work to all the waiters, you close this place, you're committed, you do an excellent job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sorry, we cannot let you be a manager.
Mm.
To me, that was a ceiling.
Yeah.
To me, that was a
You hit the
door
top.
closed. I was
Yep.
uncomfortable, and I said, "What's next for me?"
There it is.
And that was the beginning of me going and saying, "All right, I'm gonna get licensed. I'm gonna get my real estate license."
That's
And
it.
I did. I actually started in 2002. Officially, I got licensed in 2003. Actually, February 10th, 2003. Uh,
The
that
beginning.
was that was my beginning.
Yep.
And again, putting my practice, what I know, I said, now I got to join the best brokerage, not
Mm.
only the best brokerage, but the best office.
Yeah.
And so I, you know,
Determined.
yeah. So I tried to figure out what the best office was and everything. And guess what? I called. I wanted to make an appointment to the best office, and I called and said, I just passed my license. I would like to have an interview, and they asked me a question, and they said, "Well, are you gonna be a full-time agent or a part-time agent?" And me, I didn't have nobody. I needed to make end meet. I mean,
Right.
can't start real estate and not have an income.
Yeah.
I said part-time.
Hmm.
They did not interview me, and they say, "I'm sorry, we don't take part-time here.
Yeah.
We want agents that are committed, um, and that are full-time."
Yep.
So, well, again, door closes.
Yeah.
What
Shut.
is meant to be, I still wanted to be with that offer, with that same company. There
Right.
was another office in Bethesda, and you know what? I went and knocked the door on that, and boy, I'll tell you, that manager was just the most incredible human. She became my mentor. She spent with me 3 hours and just explaining everything, and she took me under her wing. And I tell you, I became a multi-million dollars producer in no time. The first year, part time, I sold 17 houses. And take a note of this. Got my license in February
Yep.
10th. April 15, I was already closing on my first investment property, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath condo in Montgomery Village,
Yeah.
and helped 17 families, part
Find home
time.
ownership.
And
Yeah.
that's the key, really. Like you're helping those 17 families help to achieve their dream. Like actually, Devin, he's sort of stepped in as my mentor, my coach. He's sort of been my guide into the industry. And one of the things he's always told me is the idea of leading with your heart versus going
Yeah.
after the money. And it's something that I think about on a daily basis. And it's I think again with you, with your strong connection to your mind, body, and soul. Like quite
Yeah.
frankly, you being genuine to your heart and helping was what
Im-
really helped you achieve that in the
Important.
first, to achieve that success so quickly. A lot of people would really jump in and say, "Hey, I'm not making money. I got to do this. I got to do that." But, your focus was being able to create the greatest impact on the families that you work with. And, it's amazing. It's no wonder why
Well, I
you,
think if you serve family, passion, and take action with integrity, right? And those happen to be our core values. And then you're always open to our fifth one, which is Kaizen and continuous improvement for the better to avoid redundancies, right? Big things happen. And that sounds like you follow very similar to our core values. I'm sure you have your own, but those are ours. But it does sound like, we're very aligned when it comes to leading with the heart first and having the passion and the confidence that if you do the right things and do what it takes and do it over time consistently, big things happen. And it's funny, Juan, you started in 2002. That was actually my intro year into the industry as well. And one thing that I know about that year is it was a decent real estate year because it was a refi boom and the rates were at 6.5. And that was a big market move for people. It was a big time. So 17 in the first year, and that is no rookie number for most, right? That is an amazing outcome. How'd you do it? How did you do that?
Brother, that's a great question. And what I said I was gonna do part time,
Yeah,
my heart and soul was like
all in.
all in real estate, eat, sleep, drink, real estate.
Yeah,
And back in the days there was no GPS.
mm,
Technology wasn't the way it is. I didn't even know where was Prince George's County was.
yeah,
I only knew from Rockville to Bethesda. So, but one thing about me is I am a walking advertising,
yeah,
walking advertising 24/7. Any moment, any time that you have an opportunity to touch base with a human,
yeah.
that is an opportunity for that person to know what you do.
That's right.
And so, whether you are at the grocery store, at the gas station, elevators, on the street, restaurant, anywhere you are,
Yeah,
it's an opportunity for you to Prospect.
That's true.
Prospect. I think of prospecting like planting seeds.
Mm,
Planting seeds every single day. I can go outside right now and get you a couple clients.
yeah, that's it. Well, you're an opportunist because you came from little and you managed to find your way here, right? And you said, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And, you get this opportunity and you're not going to leave it behind. You're going to do what it takes. So every time you walk out the door, you're planting seeds because those are opportunities to help your business grow. And here you are in the first year and 17 funded transactions.
Part time.
Part time.
You want to know how many properties, how many families I helped the first full year?
How many?
Take a guess.
Well, if you got 17 transactions, I'm going with the law of 25% turn into funding. So I would say 80 to 100 families.
My first full year, I saw 43. I helped 43 families.
That's
My
awesome.
first full year, if you do the math, that's probably like four families every month.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing.
Again, a rookie, first full year.
Well, and who's the real rookie at that point in time, right? Because,
It's funny
you could,
because everything that first full
yeah,
year in 2004, I started my team. My story is very interesting because my mom had a child in California, and at
mm,
the age of 12, I brought him to Maryland, and I became his guardian.
that's
I
amazing.
became pretty much his dad at
Yeah.
the age of 12, and I taught him a lot of things that were taught to me. And then that young man, when he turned 18, he was my first assistant.
Oh, that's great.
Again, life is a full circle,
Yeah.
and everything happens for the greater good.
That's it. That's it.
And so in 2004, I started my team and added a couple more properties to my rental portfolio. The best advice that I was given is become your best client yourself.
Mm,
I cannot understand many people in this business that they do not invest in what they sell,
that's right.
on what they believe, what they're practicing, what they're good at.
Yeah.
Like it's beyond my understanding. And talking about limitations and
Well,
inabilities to acquire wealth or generational wealth, what I call it. I mean, if I can make it, like I came here at 20 from the bunnies
Yeah.
with nothing, no support system.
You had a dream.
What are your reasons? What are your excuses? Right?
Yeah.
well, also, I wanted to touch on the fact that you talked about investing in yourself. I was actually doing some reading yesterday, and Warren Buffett talks about the seven rules of investment, and the number one thing that he talks about, and the number one most important thing that he harpens on is to invest in yourself. That's the number one most important thing that you can do, whether it's knowledge, monetarily, just to constantly invest in yourself. So yeah, no, it's something that aligns with some of the greatest business people in the entire world.
Well, young man, by far, it is the absolutely best that you can
Yeah.
do for you.
Yeah.
You are a product of, even since you were in your mom's womb, you've been programmed. Okay, you're programmed by your grandparents, your mom, your siblings, your school, your environment. So you've been
Right.
programmed, and you are a product of that today.
That's it.
In order for you to achieve new outcomes and be your greater self, you need to reprogram yourself. You can't get different results with your same thinking that you have today.
That's
That's
the
it.
definition of insanity. To-
That's what Albert Einstein says.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And the greater gift you can give to yourself is to invest in yourself. Love and care for yourself because you are the most important human on the planet. If you don't care, if you don't love yourself, who else will do it?
That's right. That's right. Well, I want to go back to something. So you talked about being 2 years into the industry, and we touched on the fact, rookie versus, seasoned veteran. And one thing I always like to mention there is that who's really the rookie is the person who's not funding transactions, right? Or serving families, right? Because I don't care if you're in the industry for 1 year, 2 years, or 10 years, the person who has more at bats is the one that has more knowledge, because every one of those transactions, there's knowledge that's being built, and there's families that are being led, and led very, very well, right? So it doesn't matter how long you've been in the industry. What matters is what you're doing with your time here in this industry, right? How you're serving those families. And Juan, you've done it masterfully. But there's another thing you mentioned, and let's take this to an education standpoint. You talked about investing, back not just in yourself, because that is the number one investment, but you're talking about investing in the industry that you're in, which is real estate. And you mentioned that you had one property purchased, but you bought two more in your first 2 years. So the first question I have is, how many properties do you have today?
Well, I have invested in hundreds of properties, Devin, and do have a large rental portfolio now that I can comfortably retire
Mhm.
and don't have to work a day in my life.
That's it. So let's talk about that, right? Because we are talking about real estate success, and you are not only a successful agent and a successful human being, but you're very successful in your portfolio. And one thing that we know, Juan, is that generational wealth through real estate is a very real thing, because homes, despite market conditions, 5.5% is an average appreciation rate for homes. So that home that you're purchasing today, in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, where does that take you, right? So now you've got a healthy portfolio, and I respect you for not wanting to divulge the entirety of that. But the point was, you started with three investments in 2004, I believe, is around when we'd be talking about, right? And here we are in 2025, and just within the investments that you've made in your personal portfolio, you have the ability to have a comfortable retirement forever, right? So if you're out there and you're a client or a borrower, or just somebody who's thinking about getting into real estate, and hopefully you're at a really young age where you can get started extremely early, right? This is why real estate is so important, because this is going to be your financial growth that's going to set up a legacy for you and those that come after you. And when you truly understand how real estate works and what it can do for you, right? It's life changing. It's absolutely life changing. And let me tell you something, Juan, not just have you changed your life, but all the lives of the people that you help, but you are so involved in the community, and not just your local communities, your global communities. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that. Like, how do you go from, immigrating here from El Salvador, waiting tables, to running a restaurant, to a masterful real estate network, to impacting communities across the world? How does that happen?
Well, life is not about Juan. Life is about Juan can actually make this world a better place, and I'm gonna do my part. As I come from nothing, right, and without parents, I ask myself, but who's my dad? And I said, well, it's God, right? And he's the King of
Amen.
Kings, the one who created the universe and everything that is in it. So for me, there is no limit on what I can accomplish and what I can do. And everyone is so important. You're a masterpiece created by God, every one of you, and God is in you and me and everybody. And so if I help you, I am helping myself. That is the way I see it. If I don't help you, knowing that I can help you, well, I understand that I am blocking my blessings, my growth.
Yeah.
So we must help each other. The more I help, the better I become.
I just got goosebumps.
And that is my belief. And understanding that everyone is a masterpiece created by God, that you are enough, that no one, absolutely no one can reject you. The only one that can reject you is you.
Mm.
You need to understand that. You are, and everything to fulfill your greatest potentials is within you already. It's not outside, it is within you. You must believe that.
You're a beautiful
And the
human
time
being.
is now. The time is today. A lot of people hold themselves back because they're thinking tomorrow, I'll be ready. There are a lot of us that like to be perfectionists, and that does not exist. Go do it, take action now. Today is today. Today is a gift.
That's why it's
That
called the
is
present.
that is what is called the present, right? Because it's a gift. Tomorrow is uncertain. The past is history. Leave it alone. Learn from it. Like everything you live is a lesson.
Yeah.
It's not a lifetime sentence. You gotta let it in the past. Move forward. This is your day. You can do it. Now, a lot of people ask me, you grew up without parents and this and that. Do you ever get depressed? And with too much respect, and I know some, people go through it. I had no time for it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've been too busy working and growing and just looking at the beauty of life because it's all about perspective. What you choose, what you believe.
Yeah.
It's very easy, very simple. I love a phrase that Bruce Lee used to say, be water, my friend. If you put the water in a cup, it becomes the cup. If you put it in a tea cup, it becomes the teacup. It flow, it crashes, so be water, my friend.
Yeah. Well, we're just
Uh,
going to stop the podcast right there, Juan. And I say that jokingly, but what an amazing message, to put out there. And, just words of wisdom that, people need to hear that. Like they need to know how important they are and how capable they are if they just believe in themselves and have that self-love and that self-belief, right? And then take action on whatever it is that they want to achieve by doing it every single day. And Juan, here you are, you're living proof, that you can go from the fields of El Salvador with no parents to a successful human being, and not just successful for yourself, but for those that you serve, those that you lead. I mean, here you are just doing these amazing things. And I'm just honored to have an opportunity to be in your presence today and learn from you because you're a beautiful person, Juan. You're a truly beautiful person.
well, thank you again. The honor is all mine. And again, what can we do together is
Yeah,
what matters because I believe when there is diversity, there is richness. And when
that's
there
right.
is union, there is power. When we all come together with our shining lights, imagine what we can create as humans. Okay? I don't need to put out your light. Rather, let's shine together.
Yeah,
There is no competition. Your competition is always going to be you. It's you versus you at all the times. There is something that nowadays people are suffering, especially with social media. They're always comparing their growth or their
mm,
life to others when that has nothing to do with them. Everyone is uniquely designed.
that's
It's
right.
like, can you judge a fish with the ability to climb a tree? Can you do that? Right? No. So be authentic, be you,
That's right.
develop the gift, the talents that God has given you. Because if you're trying to be somebody that you're not, that's when the stress comes. That's when the depression comes.
That's right.
Because you want to be somebody that you're not supposed to be.
You
And
know,
God is not going to bless the person because He created a different person,
that's
the
right.
one that you don't want to be.
Well, I'm going to give one of my quotes because it goes right along with what you're saying. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Beautiful, beautiful
Comparison
said.
can be the thief of your joy, right? So the only person you need to compare yourself to is yourself. And if you just take actions to get 1% better every single day at what you do, it's amazing at what you can accomplish. And Juan here is living proof of exactly that.
Well, thank you, Devin. And I'll tell you, there is nothing like giving back and helping others. The secret is given. The
That's it.
more you give, the more you receive. And I'll tell you, I am the president for the Salvadorian American Chambers of Commerce in the Metro DC area. And it just brings me joy to help one person at a time.
That's it.
And, in 2023, President Biden gave me the Lifetime Achievement Award for my philanthropy that I do, and, everywhere I go, because, again, everyone is an agent of change.
Yeah.
And we are the change we want to see in the world, despite of who is at the White House or who is doing what. You are in charge
That's
of
it.
your destiny and making that change that you want to see. Think about if I would be expecting my parents, my grandparents, my siblings to change my life or make me successful.
That's right.
My success does not depend on nobody or the government. No one.
You'd still be wishing.
You're still,
Yes.
yeah, you're still waiting for something. Yeah, no,
Right.
you went out and you took it and you found it. But most importantly, you led with a giving heart.
That's it.
Yeah. Amen. Well, Juan, I would love to keep you here all day, but I know, and I could, and I could listen to you speak for days because you've just got such a beautiful soul, and the passion that pours out with every word that you say. It's just, it's captivating. But brother, what did we not cover today that we should have? Is there anything that there's probably a lot, but anything you'd like to say before we wrap up today?
Well, life is beautiful. Life is a gift, and enjoy it. I mean, think about what is taking the world to be where it is today
Yeah.
for you to enjoy. As we started at the beginning, I travel with my family, and I see these majestic cities that were built in decades, and with lack of resources, technology, whatnot. But the vision of this, our ancestor, was just incredible.
Yeah.
They thought big. And so when I visit, and I said, well, I'm thinking too small. So all your limits will always be here. Often people say limits is the sky is the limit. No, the sky is not the limit. Your mind is the limit.
Mm.
And your mind will always be your greatest battle zone. It could take you up or take you down. There is no bottom, there is no ceiling. Your thoughts become your reality. And when you think, that's what it is. Amen. It takes the same energy to think small or to think big. You choose.
Well, it's like when they talk about smiling or frowning, it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. It just does.
Yeah. Well, I'm smiling from ear to ear right now. And, the only limiting beliefs are inside your own mind.
Amen. That's it.
So good. Well, Juan, when the folks out there want to find you, and I have a feeling there's a lot of people that do, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, you can just Google Juan Umanzor. Juan Umanzor. You can look me up on Facebook, Juan Umanzor. I just started a little podcast myself that we're going to, just take it to the world, impact.
What's the name? What's the name of
And
the podcast?
it's Cafecito with Juan.
Cafecito with Juan.
Cafecito with Juan. And then Instagram is Juan Umanzor Realtor. And I mean, again, just put it on Google, Juan Umanzor, and then you get all my contact information in there as
There he
well.
is. It's that easy.
Yes.
He's that easy to find. And Juan, I would love to have coffee with you.
Let's do
So
it. Let's
when
do
I
it.
get
Let's
to the
have a
metro
cafecito with
area,
Juan.
I'm knocking on the door, man. We'll have to go out and we can do a podcast together. I'd love to be on yours as well.
Brother, I'll tell you what, stories not only inspire but transform people's life. They give hope.
That's it.
Because, like I said, if I can do it, somebody that has like poor education, terrible education, no support system, and can't come into America with nothing. I mean, if I can do it, just anybody can do it.
Yeah.
Anybody. It's again what I said. what you exposed to, what you see, what you hear, what you read, and who you surround yourself with. So be mindful of that at all the times and ask yourself this question. If you have a purpose in life, whenever you're doing something, says, let's say you want to go out to with friends, and you said, does it align with what I want to do? As you haven't drank alcohol, drugs, whatever that is, ask yourself, does it align with my mission, vision, and purpose in life? If it does, keep doing it. If it doesn't, just cut it.
That's
It's
it.
simple.
It is that simple. It truly is. And you control your own destiny with your actions and your beliefs. So believe in yourself and take a page from Juan's book. And if you're stuck somewhere right now and you know that you can do more and you want to do more, right? Believe in yourself and stop comparing yourself to others because that's the thief of your joy. What a great message. Like,
Beautiful.
yeah, this is not a real estate podcast today, guys. This is a spiritual podcast. And I hope you're moved as much as I am, speaking with Juan today. Thank you so much for being here, and not just for being here, but for your words to the people that will hear this, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, believe in yourself. And if you do what it takes, you can build a beautiful life like Juan has here for himself, but not just for himself. And this is what makes it so special. He leads with a giving heart. It's what he's giving back to this world. So thank you so much. You've been an amazing guest, and I'm just proud to be in the room with you today.
Thank you so much. And we got to keep doing this. We got to keep impacting people's life. And this
Amen.
could just be the beginning of bigger things that we can do
It
together.
will be the beginning. It's not, it could be. It's going to be the beginning.
Let's go. Let's
That's
do
right.
it.
Let's go. Well, guys, Bobby, I'm going to give you a second just to give your number and name out. So, if you're out there in the greater DMV, DC area for Juan, and you need some help with a loan transaction too, Bobby's always there to serve as well. Bobby, how do folks get in touch with you?
Yeah, of course. If you're looking for someone who also leads with their heart in the same sort of, genre and aspect of the industry, you can always contact me on my personal cell phone. I'm available all the time, 301-922-4970. Or you can even look me up on Google as well. You can just type in Bobby Zapol, Senior Loan Officer, and I have my business page set up there, and I'm available all the time, Sunday through
There it is,
Sunday,
guys.
and call, text, whatever it is.
There it is. Well, guys, this has just been a magical conversation. And if you're out there and you're feeling really inspired, which I'm sure you are, and you want to, know more about Juan and want to look him up, just look down at the bottom of the description of this podcast. We'll have all of his information there as well. I'm sure there's many, many more things that we can learn from Juan and his experiences here. But if you we would appreciate if you'd like, comment, and subscribe. But DM us, if there's anything on your mind, or if you need some spiritual leadership, right? DM us. We're always here to serve, not just on a business perspective, right? It goes back to leading with that giving heart, and this is more than just a real estate podcast today. This is about helping people achieve greatness and becoming the best versions of themselves. So thank you so much for tuning in today. You got a real treat with this one. And until the next time, we'll see you then, guys. Take care.
Yeah.